Steven Universe is the property of Cartoon Network, Rebecca Sugar, and its respective owners. Any and all footage or images have been used for the sole purpose of critique or parody, and as such are protected under fair use. Please support the official release. Hey, how are you? I'm SliceofOtaku, and I think that we can all agree that Mr. Greg is one of the most beautiful episodes in all of Steven Universe. The emotions and feelings of these characters is presented to us in a way that is so genuine that they feel real. And by no means is this easy to do, especially with a large audience. So I feel as though this episode has to be carefully crafted as to execute this perfectly. In other words, there is a purpose behind everything, including the visuals associated with the song Both of You. During this song, Pearl is blue, Greg is yellow, and Steven is pink, and I feel as though this is something that is meant to be reflected upon now. We are meant to look back on this episode now and see how it correlates with what we have currently. And in the episode That Will Be All, we are able to discover a clear connection between this and what's the use of feeling blue. And I think the point of this connection is to illustrate just how similar the crystal gems are to the Diamond Authority. Now in this particular instance, Pearl is incredibly saddened by the loss of Rose Quartz, and so is Blue Diamond over the loss of Pink Diamond. And the two of them don't believe that anyone is capable of understanding how they truly feel. They're so wrapped up in their own despair that they don't recognize that other people feel the same way. In this case, Greg and Yellow Diamond. But it's just that they conduct themselves differently. Their way of coping is just different. That's all it is. It doesn't mean that they don't feel the same way, and they're able to recognize this and come together. You see, because of the rebellion, regular gems like Pearl have been afforded rights previously reserved for diamonds, the ability to rule themselves. But this comes with the possibility of being attached to others, Pearl to Rose, Blue to Pink. But even to this day, the crystal gems do not see this. They do not recognize the possibility that the diamonds have feelings similar to their own.
I can't believe all that stuff about Blue Diamond being merciful. She's a shatter! She yelled at Sapphire, she hates fusion, and love!
Greg and Steven are the only ones to have seen the diamonds behind closed doors in such a vulnerable state. So unless they speak up, the barriers between these two groups will not only remain, but hypocrisy will persist. By following the crystal gems, we are presented this monstrous face associated with Homeworld. But the thing is, this hideous face was birthed by the crystal gems themselves by opposing the Diamond Authority. Remember what Greg said in the episode The Return. There is no such thing as a good war. Injustices and atrocities were perpetrated by both sides. I believe the Gem War to be comparable to the American Revolutionary War of our world, because rather than overthrowing the pre-established government, it is more so a separation. And obviously the motherland will not want its power to be lessened, so they will fight for what they believe to be their own. And regardless of the outcome, the resultant is a permanent scar engraved upon the mainland. And this scar leads to remembrance, a constant reminder of the past. In the episode Storm in the Room, Steven vents that Rose Quartz just left the crystal gems behind to clean up her mess. And she did more than just that. She left the remaining citizens and the future citizens of Homeworld to do the same. I mean, can you truly be surprised that the Diamonds would care even less about their subjects, considering Pink Diamond was killed by one of her own? Corruption, gem mutants, the cluster, and increase in shattering, these are all byproducts of the war. And that's not to excuse Homeworld's actions because they are deplorable, but the crystal gems are partially to blame for all of this. And I honestly believe a day will come where this ignorance is lessened to a degree in which either side is capable of recognizing just how similar they actually are. And as an audience, we are essentially forced to be in favor of the crystal gems because that is the only side we are readily exposed to. And as this series progresses, I'd like to see this barrier decay and poke more holes into this good versus evil ideology. Because before, gem mutants and corrupted gems were just these monsters that we had to take out. They were evil and we had to thwart them. But as the series progressed, we learned their origins, where they come from, and now we know that the crystal gems are partially responsible for this. So it's not just we're saving the day, good versus evil, it's more than that. I mean, The full version of the theme song doesn't even properly reflect the current situation of things.
If you're evil and you're on the rise, you can count on the four of us taking you down. 'Cause we're good and evil never beats us. We'll win the fight and then go out for pizzas.
And we know that homeworld gems aren't all bad just because they're on homeworld. They're just very ignorant. And why are they ignorant? Because the only side they see is their own. But what are your thoughts? Do you agree that the Crystal Gems and Diamond Authority are more similar than they realize? Or do you think something entirely different? Let me know in the comments, and be sure to share this video with anyone you're similar to. Thanks for watching and have an awesome day. I love you.